This program is for educational purposes only. Before starting any health or exercise-related program, consult your physician. Welcome to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem. Dr. Tony is the clinical director of the Body Pro Wellness Center in Santa Ana, California. He believes that maximizing your health is critical in order to function at your best for yourself, your family, and most importantly for God, because the Bible tells us that we were created by Him and for Him. Time to maximize your health. Here's your host, Dr. Tony Ganem.
Welcome to Your Body for God Radio. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center in Orange County, California. This is the radio ministry of the Body Pro Wellness Center, and we love to talk about how amazing God made your body. It is the most precious thing ever created. It is the most amazing thing ever created. It is the last thing that God ever created, the human body. In fact, He took a rest after that. In fact, He has never created anything since then. It was that amazing. And yet we think of our bodies as a liability. Often we think of how feeble we feel or how low in energy we are, and we think that we are a liability for God. But the Bible teaches us that you are actually not a liability. You are God's greatest investment of all time. He has spent more on you than He spent on anything else. When He invested the blood of Jesus, there has never been, and there never will be, an investment greater than that. In fact, let me read to you from Romans 12. It says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy," the mercy of actually saving us and killing His own Son for you, it says, "to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is true and proper worship. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the way you think, by renewing your mind on a constant basis. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." You see, it's our duty to honor God with our body. And I'm going to challenge you to renew your mind, to stop thinking about your health from the perspective of how sick am I, and to instead look at your health from the perspective of how can I become healthier? And how can I honor God even better with my body? Because it's true and proper worship according to the Bible. If you haven't started taking care of your health, make it start today. Decide that today's the day I'm going to do something. Pray. Ask God for strength. Ask Him for wisdom. Ask Him for knowledge as to how to find out what's going on with my health and how to make it better. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you to think from a different perspective. Let's begin today by just thinking, my body was invented by God, the one who invented the universe out of nothing. I have an entire purpose for being here, and since my body carries His image, and He created me with a purpose, He probably didn't randomly just drop me into this earth, but He actually probably gave me all that I would ever need on this planet. So let's go back to the beginning when God made the heavens and the earth, and He caused living plants and fruit to actually grow from the earth, drawing nutrients from the soil and pulling water, and then commanded us to actually eat this stuff because it had the stuff that we needed to be inside of it. It was pulled from the soil, and that soil happened to be the same soil through which Adam was made. And then Eve, of course, came from Adam, so she was made of the same stuff. And so basically, we are made of the things that are in our soil. And if you talk to a chemist, they will tell you about all the minerals and elements on this planet. And if you talk to a physiologist or somebody who knows biochemistry, they will tell you that all the things in our body run on the things that are in the soil, the elements, the very things that are in our chemistry charts in the first place. So, long story put together, we are made of the stuff that's in the dirt. We were told to eat the stuff that grows from the dirt. It runs everything in our body, and this is well before anybody understood biochemistry in the first place. And we were commanded in Genesis 1:29 to eat it because that's what God made for us to function on. Do you believe that? I do. In fact, when science collides against the Bible, I have to choose the Bible every time. And I have to know that God's going to reveal himself in the end in all the things that don't make sense today. But I have to tell you, it looks good. It looks really good for those of us who have belief in what the Bible says in the first place. That God wasn't making a mistake. This book that is 10,000 years old actually shows to be true and true all the time. You are not a liability, but God had a plan from the beginning. He was going to give us everything we needed, and he told us from Genesis 1:29 exactly what we needed. Now, in weeks past, I've talked about the importance of eating these nutrients. I just want to share with you something. When we eat these things and we actually turn them into energy in our body, we actually give off carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide feeds the plants, and the plants give off oxygen, which helps us. And so it's this nice symbiotic thing where we're helping each other. But guess what? The plants were designed by the same creator that we were designed by. The food was designed by the same creator that we were designed by. This isn't accidental. And so let's just for a second think about how the body makes thyroid hormones and how everything we needed to make adequate amounts of thyroid hormones was developed in our bodies and in the foods that God wanted us to have in the first place. So God gave us a brain, and the brain is the first thing that develops inside of mom. When you're a baby and you are actually inside of mom, and yes, I did not call it a fetus, when you're inside of mom, even when you're 3 weeks old and mom doesn't even know she's pregnant with you yet, you already have a brain that's developing, and you already have the casing around the brain called the skull protecting you, and you don't even have a heart at this point. And your brain has a special region called the hypothalamus that is in charge of everything that you don't have to think about, like the making of hormones and like your breathing and your blood pressure and many other things. And this hypothalamus is in charge of sensing when you need to make more thyroid hormone because you need more energy right now. And think of the thyroid hormone as the gas pedal of your engine. If you push it down, that engine should roar. And if you pull off of it a little bit, that engine's not going to roar as much. And so your brain knows when it's time for you to make more thyroid hormone, and it tells a certain part of your brain called the pituitary gland to make some thyroid-stimulating hormone. And this thyroid-stimulating hormone, it's going to stimulate your thyroid and tell it to giddy up. Make some thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormones that you'll tend to make are called T4 and T3. The reason they're called T is because they have tyrosine in them. Tyrosine is an amino acid made by God. And the reason they're called T3 or T4 is because T3 has 3 iodines added to that tyrosine, and T4 has 4. And who do you think made iodine? That's God. He gave you everything you ever needed from the beginning. Now, the process of making thyroid hormones actually requires selenium, and you can get selenium from nuts and seeds, from Brazil nuts, for instance. You can get selenium. And this selenium is really important because without it, you can't even make thyroid hormone properly. You'll need some zinc as well, which you can get from pumpkin seeds, but you know from what I'm talking about here that God provided all that. In fact, God gave you everything you need to make these thyroid hormones work well. And in the end, the thyroid hormone that actually makes you energized, the one that makes all your cells work better, is called T3. And when we come back from a break, we're going to talk more about this T3. Hang on tight.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. BodyPro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
Hey, welcome back to segment 2. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center in Orange County, California, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Just as a reminder, if you're enjoying today's show and you'd like to learn more about how to maximize your health, how to become more energetic and lose weight and help your body normalize its own hormone production and more, then I'd like to invite you to a free seminar, and you can easily go to this free seminar by registering at bodypro.com or simply call 888-300-1888. We have operators that are standing by to take your reservation. It is a free seminar, but we need to know who is coming and who isn't so that I can staff properly. These seminars are customized to the people who are there. So if a lot of people come with thyroid issues, I talk about thyroid issues. If a lot of people come with weight issues, I talk about weight issues and so forth. But the idea is to maximize and personalize your health. And one of the ways to maximize your health is by maximizing the gas pedal of every cell in your body to make sure that it's making lots of energy. And before we went to break, we were talking about some of your thyroid hormones that do exactly that. We were talking about T4, which required tyrosine and iodine, and T3 as well. But the one that makes everything work in your body is actually called T3. But you know what's interesting is the thyroid gland doesn't naturally make a lot of T3, but the thyroid gland actually makes a lot of T4. In fact, your thyroid makes about 9 times more T4 than it makes T3, the active thyroid hormone. This inactive T4 actually has to be converted to T3 in your body's tissues, mostly in the liver and in the kidneys and in your digestive tract, believe it or not. But most people don't check the liver and the kidneys in your digestive tract when they're thinking about looking at thyroid hormones. But imagine that somehow your thyroid hormone is going to have to go from your thyroid gland to every cell in the body to act as its gas pedal to make things go. And the way that thyroid hormones get transported around the body is by the liver making some proteins that will do the transporting. See, God provided those liver proteins as well. They're called thyroid binding globulins. These are proteins that act like a taxi cab or a boat that are going to do some transporting of your thyroid hormones around your body and make them work. Go to every cell. And so you make these proteins, but in order to make these proteins, your body has to have some protein in your diet by which to make these liver proteins. And so lots of people are deficient in protein in their diet. Some people are eating it, and some people don't actually absorb what they're eating. They have lack of stomach acid, and we talked a lot about that last week. But it's important to have adequate levels of these thyroid binding globulins, these proteins that deliver your thyroid hormones. Now, if you have female hormone issues or male hormone issues, you can actually affect the number of these boats that transport your thyroid hormones. So lots of people don't realize that they have thyroid problems or metabolic problems because of hormone issues. All right, you make these boats and they transport some of your thyroid hormones and they transport most of it to your liver and kidneys because that's where you actually do the majority of the converting of the unusable T4 to the usable T3. Do you know anybody taking Synthroid or levothyroxine? These are T4 medications that have to still be converted to T3. Imagine that you take so much of that medication, but your problem is you don't make enough boats, or you make too many boats, or that your liver, kidneys, and your digestive tract do not convert the thyroid hormone properly. You're going to feel like you're sluggish. Now, your doctor will give you enough T4 hormone to make your thyroid stimulating hormone look nice, but that may not be adequate amounts of thyroid hormone to make your cells feel like they have metabolic energy. Do you know anybody who's taking thyroid medications and still feels like they don't have energy? Well, there are lots of other reasons why this might be the case. One of the problems is that people don't make enough of these boats. Some people make too many of these boats. Again, that can be due to hormone issues. But some of it can be due to the inability to convert this inactive thyroid hormone called T4 to the active hormone called T3. And this can be due to lack of selenium, something that you can get from nuts and from seeds. Brazil nuts, for instance, have lots of selenium. All the selenium you need in a day can be supplied by one Brazil nut that can make you convert some of your thyroid hormones better. But you also need some zinc. You'll also need some copper. You'll need some minerals, but these were all made by God. These minerals come from your soils. They come from salts that are in the soils and in the ocean. For instance, some people choose to use what's called Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salts. I choose to do that because that's what God made, is sea salts. And these sea salts have lots of minerals in them, lots of them. But when you buy table salt, which is processed salt, it has a lot of these minerals removed, and it's down to sodium, chloride, and some iodine. So it's missing the selenium, the zinc, the magnesium, and many other molybdenums and many other minerals that God has designed to be in your salts. And these salts are important for your body because they are made of the exact same stuff that your body is made of as well. And so we need this selenium, and we need this zinc, and we need this copper to help our body, our liver, actually convert this unusable thyroid hormone to the usable thyroid hormone called T3. Now, this also happens in the kidneys as well. They need the same exact thing. But God didn't rob you of the opportunity to have these minerals. As I said at the beginning of the show, He gave us everything we need. He didn't set us up on a planet and tell us find a way. He actually gave us a way in the first place. The idea, though, is that we'd have everything we need to make this T3 because it makes everything work well. But some people have a lot of stress. Do you know anybody who has a lot of stress? Some people have a lot of inflammation. Some people have blood sugar problems. And as a result, they don't convert the T4 to T3 very well. Instead, they make a lot of what's called reverse T3. And reverse T3 we'll get to at the end here, but basically reverse T3 is an unusable form of thyroid hormone that's actually going to hinder your body from actually using T3. And it actually stops your body from making enough T3 at the same time. So basically, it's going to rob you of energy, and you're going to wonder why. Even though I took a whole bunch of Synthroid and a whole bunch of levothyroxine, I still don't have enough energy. Now, some of your thyroid hormone actually converts from T4 to T3 in the digestive tract, believe it or not. Since your liver also dumps bile into the digestive tract, some of your T4 hormones actually get into your digestive tract, and they actually are converted to something called T3 acetic acid and T3 sulfate. These are unusable thyroid hormones, but because God gave you digestive flora, meaning probiotics in your digestive tract, these will help you convert this unusable thyroid hormone to T3. Again, if you have a healthy digestive tract, you can actually make some of these thyroid hormones. Approximately 25% of your thyroid hormone can actually come from your digestive system if your digestive system is healthy. But tell me, how many times have you checked your digestive system when we were talking about your metabolism and your thyroid hormones? Doctors generally don't do that. In fact, doctors generally only check what's called TSH and maybe something called free T4 when there are over 10 markers to look at when you're looking at your thyroid hormone from a functional perspective and understanding where it could go wrong and, more importantly, how to make it right. Okay, we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back in just a moment and finish up this segment on the thyroid. Hang on tight.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body, and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. BodyPro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
Okay, we're into segment 3 here of Your Body for God Radio. We're talking about thyroid hormones. We're talking about how God gave us everything we needed to make this thyroid hormone work. And we've gotten to the place where the brain told the pituitary gland to stimulate the thyroid, and the thyroid made this thyroid hormone called T4 and a little bit of T3, and that this T4, whether you made it yourself or you took some medication from a medical doctor, and this T4 had to get to the liver and to the kidneys and to the digestive tract in order to convert to T3, the usable form of thyroid hormone. And it was transported around your body to every cell by these boats called thyroid binding globulins that were made by your liver. And once we got there, through the use of selenium and zinc and chromium, your body was able to convert these T4s to the usable thyroid hormone called T3, and then your liver would escort these T3s now to all the cells to make it so that these cells could have some gas pedals to make them function well. But I also mentioned that in the process, if you had a lot of stress, if you lacked selenium, if you have blood sugar problems, if you have inflammation, your body can actually convert some of this T4 to this unusable form of thyroid hormone called reverse T3. So at this point in my testing, I would look at TSH, I'd look at T4, I'd look at T3, I'd look at T3 uptake, which tells you about how many boats you have, if you make too many, if you make too little. I'd look at how much thyroid hormone actually is free and available to the tissues as T4. And then I'd look at how much of that free T4, the one that's available to the tissues, actually gets converted to T3s. And then I want to see how much of that T3 is actually transported to all the cells to make them available to be your gas pedals. And so you want to look at that free T3. That's the one that tells you how much is available to your tissues at this time. But even though you've provided this free T3, this thyroid hormone that you need, your body needs vitamin A. Vitamin A is in a lot of green vegetables, and its precursor called beta-carotene or alpha-carotene are in things like green vegetables and also in orange vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots and so forth. And so God has provided us the vitamin A that's necessary to activate your thyroid hormone. Lots of people are deficient in vitamin A. Vitamin A also comes from fats, and lots of people are avoiding fats. In fact, lots of people avoid green vegetables and orange vegetables and fats, and so you can understand how they become deficient in vitamin A. But if you can imagine you have a metabolic issue, you're lacking energy in every cell of your body, and you have 100 trillion cells in your body, and you have no energy, the leverage that you have to turn that on and turn your life around is magnificent. And it could be a vitamin A deficiency, or it could be a selenium deficiency, or a zinc deficiency, or a chromium deficiency. But the point I've been making this entire show is that God gave you all those things. He didn't put you on this planet and tell you to find a way. He actually gave us a way right away. The secret is to understand where you're at and why you are the way you are, to actually test and find out what these different markers tell me about your metabolism and your thyroid hormones and how to maximize them so that 100 trillion cells can function better. Do you want to function better? Do you want every cell in your body to be working better, to make better hair cells, to make better lung cells, to make better heart cells, skin cells, to burn fat better, to have more energy, to function better? A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't even know that it could simply be one thing that's going on with their body that's affecting their energetics, and they could do something about it today, and they don't realize it. Folks, you need to invest in your health because God invested in your health. It just takes some testing to understand what's going on with your body. Often it comes down to your money or your health. Your money or your health. So many people have their priorities all messed up. They're trying to save dollars and they're losing their life at the same time. When I survey a room, for instance, at my seminars, and I just ask people, how many of you have your life insurance planned out, your death planned out? How many of you made sure that you have your funeral expenses paid for? And lots of people raise their hands. They're ready and they've paid for their death. But how many are willing to pay for their life? They have life insurance, but do they have life assurance? Are they taking care of their health? And most importantly, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're told to do this in the Bible, to take care of our bodies because this is true and proper worship of God, according to Romans 12. If you want to change your life and learn how to find out what's going on with your metabolism, I want to invite you to come to one of our seminars. You can log on to bodypro.com and sign up for one of our free seminars. They are free and they're lengthy. They're about 3 hours long. I go into a lot of information about maximizing your health. I also make sure that I survey the room and understand the topics that people want me to talk about at these seminars so that I can personalize the seminar more for you. Log on at bodypro.com and register. It would please me to change your life. Once again, that's bodypro.com. You can also register by calling us at 888-300-1888. We have operators standing by to take down your information and make sure that my staff members give you a call on Monday to answer any questions you might have about our seminars. We would love for you to attend. We would love to change your life. Well, God bless you. Please remember you can always listen to our radio archives at bodypro.com, and you can always download our podcasts from iTunes. Go to iTunes on your computer or on your Android or on your iPhone and download the podcast called Your Body for God. One word, Your Body, F-O-R-G-O-D, and you'll have access to many of our shows from the past. This is our last show on KBRT. We've enjoyed K-Bright, but you're always welcome to listen to us on 99.5 FM, KKLA at 10 o'clock in the mornings on Saturday, and you can always listen to our archives on bodypro.com and again on iTunes. Until next time, get healthy.
You've been listening to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem, a doctor of chiropractic and a certified holistic nutritionist. To learn more about Dr. Tony's free nutritional health and weight loss seminars, go to bodypro.com. That's bodypro.com. The views and opinions expressed on today's program are those of Dr. Tony Ganem's and not meant to take the place of your doctor's advice. Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem is sponsored by the Body Pro Wellness Center.